So I had this burning question. My great-grandfather, Henry, good Jewish boy, marries Teresa O'Shea, who I have assumed all along was a good Catholic girl. Extraordinary. But what's more exciting about it is that they chose to get married in St. Peter's Church, which was, of course, a church of Ireland, Church of England. So I want to know how that would have come about.
Well, why don't we go and have a cup of coffee and talk about it?
All right. Okay, great.
Good. And we can presume that Teresa O'Shea, by birth, is a Catholic.
Yeah.
O'Shea might have been a Protestant family name, but with a name like Teresa, she has to be a Catholic.
Yeah.
It would have been virtually impossible for her to marry a Jewish man within the Catholic Church if he had not yet converted. But living in 70 Angel Street, they're living within the bounds of St. Peter's Parish. So legally, at one time, they would have been entitled to get married within the parish church. Now, until 1871, the Church of Ireland was the state church, and everybody who lived within the bounds of the parish was entitled to get married within the parish.
How difficult would it have been for her at that time to marry outside of her religion? What did they give up?
They give up everything. I mean, it might have been very difficult for her to say to her parents or her brothers and sisters she was marrying a foreigner and somebody who wasn't a Christian.
Yeah.
He gives up everything for her. He gives up effectively being a Jew for her. Now, they don't have children very suddenly afterwards. So it's not that they needed to get married, to put it politely. They wanted to get married. And the only reason that they could get married like that is because they love one another. This is a very romantic story about two people who meet, who fall in love, and who get married. It's a wonderful Victorian romance.
Wow. Can't wait to tell my dad. Now that I've found out so much about his family life, I need to now go and find out more about his professional life, his career.
Dervla has come to the National Library of Ireland to search through the genealogical records of the Irish Jewish community.
Hi.
Morning.
I have a title of a book here. The Heritage A to Z. The DNA of Irish Jewry.
Is there a particular name that you're looking for in?
Yeah, it's Henry Kahn.
Henry Kahn, okay.
K-A-H-N.
If you take a seat, I'll have a look and we'll bring it down to you.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you.
That's the particular book you were looking for.
Okay, great, thank you. Katz, Kahn. Here we go. Here we are. Okay, so we have, oh my God. We have Henry Kahn. It says here that in 1902, it says here that Henry Faulkner, QC, sentenced Henry Kahn to 1 year's imprisonment, I shouldn't laugh, for shop window breaking of Esther Marks. But I don't know what the altercation was about. I wonder will the newspapers have any more information?
Now, we managed to locate one newspaper in relation to the 1902 incident, and we've also managed to locate a number of other newspapers dating back to 1896.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So this is in the Irish Times dated 1896. Oh. Okay. We have betting prosecutions, a tobacconist named Henry Kahn, was summoned by Superintendent Dempsey for permitting betting on his premises. Superintendent Dempsey said that on Friday afternoon he visited Mr. Khan's house, and as he came up to the shop, a man selling papers ran into the shop and called out, "You are caught, you are caught, here's the police." Mr. Khan admitted he had taken the bet. The summons was dismissed with a caution on the defendant undertaking not to permit betting on his premises. So clearly my great-grandfather has been illegally using his shop as a betting premises, and I'm sure it wasn't the first time. What else are we going to find out? 1902. Okay. The Evening Telegraph. Okay, I've got to be so careful. Okay, I've got to be so careful. Oh, here we are. Here's the biggie. Destruction of property, charge against a Jew. 12 months imprisonment. Today at the city sessions, a Jew named Henry Khan was indicted for having, on the 30th of December 1901, maliciously broken window glass, china ornaments, and a large quantity of bric-a-brac, the property of Mrs. Esther Marks of 1 Aston's Quay. Solomon Marks, son of the lady who keeps the shop, he had a row with the prisoner before in the Empire Billiard Bar. The recorder had never heard of a greater outrage in the course of his life. If this fellow, the prisoner, had been thrashed to within an inch of his life when he committed this act, he would have been properly treated. He had no hesitation in asking the jury to find the prisoner guilty. "The prisoner, my lord, will you allow me to make a statement?" The recorder, "I will not. You are a specimen of your nation and your race that cause you to be hunted out of every country." The jury found the prisoner guilty and he was sentenced to 12 calendar months. Well. To have a judge say, "You are a specimen of your nation and your race that cause you to be hunted out of every country," is a pretty damning indictment of really how Jews were perceived at that time. What's startling about this case is that here you have my great-grandfather. He's not allowed to defend himself. He has a judge that clearly refuses to allow him to do so, asks the jury to convict him for a 12-month sentence, and comes out with extraordinarily anti-Semitic comments that haven't been in any way challenged. So where we need to go now is we kind of have to take this case apart. It'd be very interesting to see were other Jews being made an example of, and who was this judge?
To find out more, Dervla has come to Green Street Courthouse, where Henry Khan was tried in 1902. She's meeting legal historian Dr. Kevin Costello.
Thank you for meeting.
This is where Henry would have started his day on the Saturday the 11th of January 1902.
It's a very intimidating building.
There were constant complaints about the conditions in this courthouse. And I think the best way to see it is just to follow the route that he would have taken. We're going up into the body of the court now. Well, we're actually standing in the dock. This is where Henry would have stood. That is where the formidable Sir Frederick Faulkner would have sat, 71-year-old recorder of Dublin.
As the recorder of Dublin, the senior judge in the central Dublin district, Sir Frederick Faulkner was one of the most prominent figures in the Irish legal establishment.
My great-grandfather, he's up against Faulkner, who says some extraordinary things about his race.
The whole thing is a complete mistrial.
two very serious irregularities, two essentially unconstitutional incidents occurred. The first was that Henry asked to make a statement, and the reporter simply stopped, simply, you can't do that, and denied him that constitutional right. The second and graver offence committed by the recorder is that he actually positively directs the jury to find Henry Can guilty. And that again was totally unconstitutional. So it was an absolute miscarriage of justice.
And this extraordinary statement, you're a specimen of your nation and your race. Would that have been common at the time? Or?
It wasn't common. The problem was that Faulkner had form. Faulkner, on two previous occasions, in fact, had been guilty of anti-Semitic interventions.
Is there any way that my grandfather, great-grandfather, can contest this?
Well, a firm eye is being kept on Sir Frederick Faulkner immediately after this case. An intervention is made.
Oh, okay. The Jewish Chronicle, indeed. I must respectfully enter my strongest protest. The entire Jewish community in Dublin and elsewhere is outraged by the publication of such remarks as are attributed to you. Fine. So what happens next?
Okay, well, the next part of the process occurs in London.
What am I looking at here? What is this document?
This went all the way now to the House of Commons in London. Parliamentary question asked by the MP for Whitechapel in East London about the misconduct of Faulkner.